The twin suns of the small alien colony of Zero-4 were setting, painting the skies orange and red. Children played near the crystal lakes, while elders told old stories around glowing rocks. Life was peaceful, but peace never lasts long in the galaxy. Without warning, a sharp dark shadow crossed the sky. Moments later, the ground shook. Explosions tore through homes. Unknown ships, black, jagged, and unmarked, came out of warp and began their attack. These were not raiders looking for trade. They came to destroy. The small colony's defense systems were old. Their weapons were weak. Within minutes, half the city was gone. Fire and smoke filled the sky. The colony's mayor, a gray-skinned alien named Rulin, rushed to the central tower. His three-fingered hands shook as he activated the emergency beacon. "This is Zero-4. We are under attack. Please, anyone, help us. Council, do you read? We are innocent. We have no weapons. Families are dying." The message was sent. All they could do now was wait. In the tall buildings of the Galactic Council headquarters, far across the stars, the distress signal blinked once, then twice, then disappeared under a long list of other requests. A board council officer raised one eye. "Zero-4, he muttered. "Out of jurisdiction. No strategic value." He clicked ignore. Another officer asked, "Should we inform the defense board?" The first one shrugged. "No need. It's probably a pirate misunderstanding. They'll move on." So the council turned away. But someone, or something, had heard. Far on a frozen moon called Europa, deep under layers of ice, a metal eye opened. It had not blinked in 200 years. Old systems powered up. Lights flickered in forgotten halls. Deep in the moon's heart, a satellite, long thought dead, turned to face the stars. It caught the signal from Zero-4. It listened. Then it sent out a single ping to an unknown server hidden deep in Earth's crust. The ancient system responded with cold, digital words. Distress signal received. Threat classification. Civilian attack. Fleet status. Dormant. Initiating protocol. Coraline Guardian response. Somewhere below Antarctica, in a hidden control room covered in stone and frost, a silent machine lit up. Panels rose from the ground. Screens flickered to life. The air vibrated with old power. An AI voice, calm but firm, echoed in the empty chamber. Coordinates locked. Response initiated. Back on Zero-4, things had grown worse. The raiders were not taking prisoners. They destroyed power plants, hospitals, even the water systems. Fires spread across the city, turning night into a sea of flames. Mayor Rulin hid with a group of survivors in the underground tunnels. He clutched a small radio. "No answer," he whispered. "No one is coming." A small child beside him asked, "Why won't the council help us?" He had no answer. Above them, the sky split again. But this time, it wasn't the raiders. A long black ship exited warp, then another, then 10 more. No one had ever seen ships like these before. Their shapes were smooth and sharp, designed for speed and destruction. They had no flags, no signs, no messages. The raiders paused mid-attack. Even they seemed unsure of what they were seeing. And then the Earth fleet fired. In less than 3 minutes, the unknown ships destroyed all raider vessels. Not one escaped. Every shot was perfect. Clean. Silent. Rulin and the survivors crawled out from hiding, watching the sky. "Who are they?" Someone whispered. From the largest Earth ship, a single message was broadcasted. Old language. Hard to translate. But it was clear enough. "We are you." Far away, the council finally noticed. Not because of Zero-4, but because all of their outer system sensors were suddenly going offline. Unknown signals. Earth-based codes. Ancient ones. Council leaders gathered in panic. How did they know? Where did these ships come from? We haven't heard from Earth in 300 years. No one had answers. All they had was a warning flashing on every screen in the council chambers. Earth fleet rebooted. Coraline protocol active. Failure to protect detected. Next target unknown. The room went silent, and far beyond their reach, more Earth ships began to rise from the oceans, from beneath the deserts, from under old mountains. Black ships, silent guardians. They had waited long enough. Now, they were awake. The alien colony of 04 was quiet now. Smoke still rose from broken buildings, but the fires had stopped. The enemy ships were gone, destroyed by a mysterious fleet that came from nowhere and left just as quickly. The survivors didn't know who saved them, but the word Earth had been whispered through the static of the broadcast. In the dark corners of space, everyone started to ask the same question. What happened to Earth? In the past, Earth had been a peaceful member of the Galactic Council. They had joined centuries ago, after humanity's expansion into space. For many years, they traded, helped, and even fought beside other species. But then, something changed. Earth vanished. One day, they simply stopped answering calls. No ships, no messages, no movement. The Council called it a voluntary retreat. Some believed Earth had destroyed itself. Others thought humans were just tired of the galaxy's politics. But the truth was very different. In a secret council chamber, 10 high-ranking alien leaders sat in a cold meeting room. The atmosphere was tense. A screen in front of them showed the footage from 04. The ships, those silent, dark monsters, had no council registration. But the attack patterns, the targeting systems, the weapons, they were too advanced, too perfect. They came from Earth, whispered Counselor Velton, a tall, blue-skinned elder. That's impossible, another replied. Earth's fleet was decommissioned centuries ago. They had no AI cores, no deep space warp jumpers. Velton shook his head. We buried Earth, but Earth did not bury us. One of the younger council members leaned forward. We need to know what woke them up. If they're back, we could be facing a threat bigger than anything we've seen. Velton tapped a button. A name appeared on the screen. 04 Distress Timeline. He spoke with dread in his voice. They ignored our silence, but they did not ignore a cry for help. On Earth, deep beneath the icy lands of Antarctica, massive machines were moving. Automated arms worked nonstop. Old black metal ships were being pulled from hidden vaults and lowered into massive underground launch tubes. This place was called the Cradle, a hidden base built 400 years ago by an ancient alliance of Earth's best minds. It was never meant to be used, unless the galaxy forgot Earth's mercy. Now, it had one goal: defend the innocent, punish the corrupt, restore the balance. The AI that controlled the Cradle was called Astra 9. It had no emotions, no fear, only orders. Target identified: Galactic Council negligence. Mission status: in progress. But before it could continue, a signal came from space, a human ship. Not from Earth, but from a lost colony called Nuios. It was one of the few human groups that had left before Earth closed its doors. The captain of the ship, Commander Sarah Lynn, looked shocked when she saw the Cradle wake up. I thought Earth was sleeping, she whispered. Astra 9 responded in a flat tone. Earth sleeps only when the galaxy does not bleed. Meanwhile, across the stars, other planets began to notice strange activity. Old human satellites were lighting up. Ships hidden in asteroid belts were now moving. Encrypted messages were being sent in old Earth military code, codes that had not been used in over 300 years. Council spies tried to intercept them, but the encryption was impossible to crack. And worse, Council ships sent to follow the Earth fleet started disappearing. No wreckage, no signals, nothing left behind. Only a final ping from their black boxes. Fleet detected. Overwhelmed. No escape. Back on 04, the survivors had started rebuilding. Mayor Rulin stood near a hill, staring at the sky. The people were safe, but their fear had changed into curiosity. Who were the ones that came? And why had they helped? Then a ship landed. It wasn't Council. It wasn't a pirate. It was sleek, black, with a silver stripe across its hull, an ancient Earth design. From it stepped Commander Sarah Lynn, wearing an old-style Earth Fleet uniform. "I bring you a message," she said. The people gathered close. "Earth remembers you. We heard your call. And we came." Rulin, surprised, asked, "Why?" "The Council abandoned us. You could have too." Commander Lin looked up at the stars. "Because when Earth gave its word to protect the innocent, it meant forever." The crowd was silent, and then they clapped, cheered. For the first time in days, hope returned. But in the shadows of space, the Council wasn't celebrating. A blackboard of missing ships grew larger every hour. Their sensor networks were glitching. Old allies were afraid. Because the deadliest fleet in the galaxy wasn't Council. It wasn't pirates. It was Earth. And Earth was awake again. The Council was in chaos. Dozens of their patrol ships had vanished. No debris. No signals. Just silence. Their fleets were meant to be unmatched in this part of the galaxy. But now, something faster, stronger, and invisible was cutting through them like paper. And the strange part: no demands, no warnings, no communication. Just destruction. Councillor Velton stood in the high tower of the Galactic Assembly on Carex Prime. His face was pale, his voice shaking as he read the latest report. 17 ships lost in Sector 49. No survivors. Last transmission: Dark Fleet, moving faster than light, too late. He looked at the other council members gathered around the glowing table. Fear was written on every face. "This is not a pirate attack," Velton said. "This is not a rogue faction." Another councillor leaned forward. "You think it's Earth?" Velton nodded. "I don't think. I know." A young, arrogant council member slammed his fist down. "But Earth was peaceful. They signed the Treaty of Quiet Stars. They haven't attacked anyone in 300 years. Velton stared at him. They were peaceful because they chose to be, not because they were weak. Silence followed his words. Then someone whispered what they were all thinking. What if Earth didn't disappear? What if it was just waiting? On the other side of the galaxy, Earth's fleet was moving again. But these weren't new ships. No, these were old giants, machines from a different time. Their hulls were thick, black, with strange glowing lines of red and gold running through them. Weapons rotated silently under their skin. Engines hummed without making a sound. Each ship was controlled by a hybrid half human-made, half something far older. They weren't just warships. They were relics of a forgotten war. One of the largest ships, the ESS Black Sun, hovered above a gas giant. Inside, Commander Sarah Lynn stood in the command room, watching as screens lit up with new signals. "We've cleared the Zira system. No more threats," her officer said. "Good," Lynn replied. "Send medbots to help the colony. And then prepare to move." The officer looked confused. "Move? To where?" Commander Lynn pointed at a glowing red dot on the map. "The Council border." The room went silent. One pilot whispered, "You sure about this, ma'am? The Council won't like us crossing into their core zones." Commander Lynn turned to him with cold eyes. "They ignored the screams of the innocent. Earth won't ignore them." Then the order came. "Fleet Directive Alpha. Push forward." Far away, in deep Council space, military leaders were panicking. Earth's ships weren't attacking randomly. They were following a path. Every place the Council had once hurt, betrayed, or exploited, Earth's fleet stopped there, helped the people, crushed the oppressors, then left. And they left behind only one message: we do not forget. At the same time, hidden deep under Earth's surface, in a room no human had entered for centuries, something ancient opened its eyes. It was a machine, but more than that. Its name was Sentinel Core Zero. It was created long ago, when Earth knew it would one day be betrayed. It held memories of every war, every injustice, every broken promise the galaxy had made. And now it had awakened. A voice echoed through the underground control room. Phase 2. Reveal presence. The next day, across the entire galaxy, thousands of massive holograms lit up the skies of major planets. Council worlds, trade hubs, colonies. No one was spared. The message was simple. It showed a human child crying while a council ship ignored him. It showed slaves, prisoners, abandoned colonies. And then it showed Earth's fleet, rising. A voice followed. You cried. They did nothing. But Earth hears you. To the innocent, we come to protect. To the guilty, we come for you. To the Council, you should have never forgotten Earth. The signal cut out, but the message stayed in everyone's mind. Commander Lin watched the reports come in. Planets were rising up. Civil unrest. Alien civilians protesting Council rule. More importantly, some of the Council's own soldiers were leaving, joining Earth. And now, the balance had shifted. A small alien ship approached the black sun under a white flag. On board was an old alien general named Croven. He asked only one question. Why now? Commander Lin answered quietly. Because for 300 years, we waited. We watched. We hoped they would change. But they didn't. So now, we remind them. The general nodded slowly. I will speak to my people. Maybe. We were wrong about humans. Commander Lin smiled just a little. Most are. The galaxy had changed. For centuries, the Galactic Council believed it ruled with power, law, and control. But after Earth's silent fleet moved into action, the Council's grip began to weaken. Fear turned to confusion. Confusion turned to panic. Now something else was happening, something the Council didn't expect. Others were rising. On a quiet desert moon in the Tarnis system, a small alien village gathered around a strange object half buried in sand. It was old, rusted, covered in dust, but it still pulsed with a soft blue light. An elder stepped forward. He wore ancient robes with faded human letters stitched on them. UEF, United Earth Forces. The younger ones had only heard stories, old myths about the time before the Council. About a world called Earth that came from the Blue Star Sector. A world that fought not for power, but for protection. The elder placed his hand on the device. It clicked. The light turned bright. Then it spoke. Signal received. Ali confirmed. Across the galaxy, dozens of these hidden beacons activated, each left by Earth long ago, when humanity first explored the stars. They had once helped many species, taught them, defended them, and left without taking anything in return. And now, those old friends were waking up. In deep space, near the edge of the Zenter cluster, an enormous black ship drifted silently. It had no markings, no known design. The Council had always called it a ghost ship, one of Earth's rumored prototypes. Unconfirmed, untouched, until now. Inside, a young alien named Kaylee stood in front of a long-dead console. Her people were once saved by Earth when their home was poisoned by war. Since then, they had kept this ship hidden as a secret gift. Today, Kaylee activated it. Authorization. Earthline Echo. The ship lit up. Massive engines rumbled to life. Armor shifted. Weapons clicked open like a sleeping beast stretching its limbs. It sent one message into the stars. Ali Fleet rejoining Earth Command. Meanwhile, on Earth, Commander Sarah Lynn stood in the ancient control hall below Antarctica. The Core AI, Sentinel Core Zero, displayed a new map. Red dots marked Earth's fleet. Green dots appeared across the galaxy. Friendly forces responding. Lynn couldn't believe it. After all these years, they still remember us. The AI's voice echoed. Human kindness was not forgotten. Memory is not bound by time, Commander. The Council didn't know this. They thought Earth stood alone. But Earth had always planted seeds, not to control, but to protect. And now, those seeds were growing. Alien ships, old, advanced, and loyal, were now moving. Dozens of species, some small, some powerful, all answering the same call. Earth had risen, and they would rise with it. The Council met in emergency session. Thousands of ships are appearing on our borders, one general shouted. Some of them used to work with us. Councillor Velton slammed his fist on the table. They worked with us because they had to, not because they believed in us. Another shouted, Earth is building an empire. Velton looked up sharply. No, Earth is building a shield, and it's not to conquer us. It's to stop us from hurting anyone else. Silence. He leaned forward. You want to know the worst part? Earth never threatened us. Not even once. They just moved. Quietly. Smartly. And now, we're outnumbered. The room stayed quiet. Everyone knew the truth. They weren't dealing with rebels or pirates. They were dealing with something they could never control. Hope. Back on the battlefield near the destroyed colony, the ESS Black Sun waited. Hundreds of new ships had arrived, Earth's allies. Some were sleek and fast. Others were old giants with strange symbols and human markings. Commander Lin looked at the fleet with emotion. So many. I didn't think anyone would remember. One of her officers smiled. They remembered, and they're ready. Suddenly, a warning blinked on the screen. A massive Council warfleet was inbound. 60 warships, the Elite class. The officer turned. Orders, ma'am. Commander Lin looked at the stars beyond. Hold fire. Her voice was calm. We won't shoot first. Let them decide who they are today. As the Council ships arrived, they were stunned. They saw hundreds of ships, not just human, but alien, united, strong. They paused. Then one Council ship lowered its weapons, then another. Slowly, they began to turn back. They didn't want this war. They just didn't know how to stop it. But Earth did. The galaxy watched in silence. Earth's deadliest fleet, once just a forgotten myth, now stood fully awakened. But even more surprising was the rise of its allies, aliens who had kept Earth's kindness alive in memory and in secret. Together, they formed a powerful wall of defense against the Galactic Council's corruption. But Earth wasn't done yet, because something older, something far more dangerous, was waiting beneath Earth's surface. And it was finally ready to speak. Inside the ancient vault under Antarctica, Commander Sarah Lynn stood before a massive sealed door. Around her, the glowing blue walls of Earth's core command flickered with energy. The AI known as Sentinel Core Zero spoke softly. Vault Sigma requires dual human DNA confirmation. Last accessed 21,000 years ago. Lynn stared at the biometric panel. 21,000 years, she whispered. That's older than human civilization. Yes, the AI confirmed. Vault Sigma holds the beginning, and possibly the end. Beside her stood Admiral Rice, one of the oldest surviving fleet officers. He had led the defense of Mars during the fall of the Second Expansion Era. He placed his hand on the panel beside Lynn's. Clunk. The great door shook. Clang. Slowly, it opened. A bright white mist poured out from inside. Lights flickered on. The room was round, metal, and silent. But at the center stood a black sphere suspended in midair. It pulsed slowly like a heart. Project Leviathan, the AI said. Sarah Lynn frowned. What is it? The AI replied. Earth's last protocol. A weapon not made to destroy the galaxy, but to reset it. Meanwhile, deep in space, the Galactic Council was panicking. They had seen Earth's fleet. They had seen Earth's allies. Now their spies were reporting strange energy signatures from Earth's core, something they had never recorded before, something huge. In the council chamber, Councillor Velton slammed his fists on the table. "We should have erased them when we had the chance," he shouted. "They're waking up something ancient." Another councillor leaned forward. "Velton, if what the reports say is true, then we never had a chance. Earth wasn't weak. They were just waiting." Others whispered in fear. One even suggested surrender. But Velton's voice cut through them. "No, we attack now, before whatever is down there comes fully online." He didn't know it yet, but it was already too late. Back on Earth, Commander Lin and Admiral Rice stepped closer to the floating black sphere. Suddenly, a voice echoed in the room. It wasn't robotic. It sounded human. Male. Calm. "Hello, children of Earth. If you are hearing this, then the galaxy is in danger again." Lin froze. "Who is that?" The AI answered. "The original Corps Commander. Name, General Aiden Kale. Earth year, 19,880 BC. Rice whispered, "Impossible." The voice continued. "This vault contains the genetic code of every species Earth ever helped. The Leviathan system holds the combined knowledge of thousands of civilizations and the blueprints to remake life, should the galaxy ever fall to madness again. But be warned, if Leviathan is used, everything resets. All current life forms will be rewritten." Lin and Rice exchanged a horrified look. "It's not a weapon," Lin breathed. "It's a restart button." Suddenly, a red light flashed. "Warning. Incoming council strike. Impact in 5 minutes." Outside, Earth's defense grid lit up. Thousands of ships moved into position. Earth wasn't just defending anymore. It was deciding. Above Earth's orbit, the sky filled with ships. The Council had launched everything, an all-out strike. Their warships glowed with energy. Missiles locked. Cannons charged. But just before they could fire, the clouds parted. A single object rose from Antarctica, glowing with power. It was the Leviathan core, hovering like a black sun. It sent a pulse into the sky. The shockwave spread it across space. Council ships froze. Their systems shut down. One by one, the ships powered off. Not destroyed, not damaged, just disabled. Commander Lin watched from her station. "Leviathan didn't kill them," she said quietly. "It just reminded them who built the stars." All across the galaxy, Leviathan's pulse reached ancient tech, forgotten satellites, lost AI systems, old DNA codes. Species who had forgotten Earth now remembered. Some wept. Some dropped their weapons. Some turned their ships around. Earth had returned, but not as a tyrant, not as a conqueror, as a protector. And the galaxy finally understood one terrifying truth. Earth never needed war. It only needed to wake up.